All right, and tidying up a couple of things I wanted to get fixed. So you can see right here, see that crack? Well, that's actually a body line where the front half of this is actually a piece, and then this is a piece. So if you look underneath here, you might be able to see it. But mainly you can see all is the goop of the high saw that's in there. So you can kind of see there's the window piece, there's the windows, and then there's the main fuselage. Well, right there in that corner is all that. So the stresses of moving it and whatnot and not having any, what I'm hoping, not having any glue in there, really good with three pieces coming together, like this piece and then this all through here. And you can kind of see it comes down and it cracks. So I'm hoping with some new high saw that I've got in here, filled into that spot, that'll keep that from cracking. This side hasn't cracked yet. I'm sure it will. Yeah, 9460. This is gray. You can kind of see it there. It's just like the 9462, which is a tan color. This is gray. It's supposed to be harder, supposed to be thicker, supposed to be better. I'm hoping that it won't do that. There you can kind of get a good picture of all that gray. There was a big old hole down inside there. So I just filled it up with the high saw, and it kind of comes around. And then you can see how that kind of fits down in there. I filled it up. If it's high saw, you know it's good. So yeah, that's what we're hoping. And I got all my lines secured with my little bit of safety wire, kind of just cramped on there and spun on and kind of giving it a little bit of grip. I couldn't find the size of wire that he was using before, which is a little bit thicker than mine, but I just do mine twice around each of the spots to make sure that they stay on good. And you can kind of see we're all set and ready to go with the fuel tanks in their position, and hopefully we'll get this thing back together. How do y'all like my new starter for the turbine? Isn't that convenient? I mean, it's just an 18-volt Milwaukee drill, just ready to start. Putting it all back together. Now, what this is there's a couple mounts back here that weren't mounted to anything really. I mean, for the mechanics, you have these ones, to there, and then you have this one that goes all the way across to the other side, and that is attached to these two beams. So I thought, okay, well, this is back here. Why not just go ahead and make that a mount? So I'm using this long ass drill bit holder so that I could drill a hole. And it's not even, you know, that's about as straight as I can get it. But that's the last thing. Everything else has been tightened up in its normal position. So I'm just going to go ahead and drill these in and make a little extra, you know, kind of holding on spot. Let's see if we can get this in. Easy peasy. I did move my pump to the inside, and so that what I'm going to do, the plan is when I make the floor, this will be a lid that opens up right here. It just swings open so that I can put my battery down here. So I'm putting the floor all the way in here, but the wall comes to about right here. Well, there's a lot more room back there. Plus I've got this battery tucked way back in there that I'll need access to. But I'm gonna make the wall, it comes down at an angle and then goes flat, straight down. So I'll have a wall that'll hide all this shit. Best of intentions, but you know, who knows? And of course, the only frickin' bolts I have aren't long enough to wad a shotgun. God damn it. I have to go get bolts later on, but this will hold it in place while I drill the other side. So yeah, and you can see It's off center because it's way too big, but it's kind of fun. So I got to get this down into here, find my hole, get some fur around it. There we go, 2 freshly drilled holes. Now I gotta suck all that stuff out so it doesn't get into the jet engine. My vacuum suck. Then I'm taking a drill bit by hand and I'm just deburring the bottom side of that. It's just a bigger drill bit, and just deburr the bottom side, and let's see how the deburring did. Oh, it did pretty good. Kind of see, takes all the burrs off of that hole. Now to go buy some bolts that are long enough. Even if you put a nice little bolt down here, not only do you got to have room to get said bolt on, but if you can't get the wrench or the driver on it, you'll have to have something like this that goes all the way up to the top to be able to do it. It's freaking ridiculous. This is what it takes to get the freaking torque wrench, the fucking screwdriver, the nut driver, the whatever it is, to get it tight. You gotta have this big long son of a bitch, that long, and at the bottom you gotta have a fucking pair of forceps to hold the damn nut in order to get it in there. Oh god, what a pain in the ass sometimes this shit is. Okay, subtle changes are taking forever. Seems to be my MO, is shit taking forever and slow and whatnot. So now, okay, so we've got the tanks in here. I've got the ECU mounted on the wall this time, not on the floor. I've got all my extra shit ran on here. I got my telemetry sender for the Jakudowski to Jetty. So I've got the cords. One goes over to that side so I can plug it in and with the EDT so I can read it. And another wire comes all the way up to here, comes in there, and then the 2 wires that go to there. So yeah, it's taking forever. But I'm kind of getting stuff kind of routed so that when it goes through the floor, it'll only be in one real spot. So, and everything is below the floor level as of right now. Then I've got a receiver. It's got its antenna, one that's up on top going that way towards the back, and then this one pointing down. And I've got the other one on the other side that's right here. And then it has its antenna, one over here and one kind of there, but it's below the floor level. So now I've got this big ass long power cord. This is the plug-in for the EDF. So I'm going to have that here. So what I've got to do, I've got 3 packs here, and I'll have one more pack here. So I've got to make a hole about right here because there's a landing gear. So I got to make a hole just underneath the level of the floor whenever I get this all in here so that it's not seen. So when I get this all in here, see, that's how it was before, is they all came up and then up over the top and then back to here, which is really convenient. You just open the door, plug it in, no big deal. But I want all this stuff down below floor level. So that's the next spot, is taking this monstrosity of a plug-in that has 2 Ys plugged in to a parallel so that I can get 12S, 10,000 out of 4,000 or 5,000 packs. And then it gets all plugged in here. So as you can see, this is way too long. So I'm going to have to shorten this up so that I can just have it out when I take the floor out and plug it in and be ready to fly. I gotta still do some tidying up, but everything is kind of in its place where it needs to be to have a floor and a back wall. And you see, I've got the Oh, those are, God damn it, those are the capacitors for the ECU back here that runs the EDF. EDF, ECU, CPU, EPA, BFD. And now I'm gonna turn all of this stinking thing into something prettier. That's gonna have all 3 packs plugged in right here, and then come up to here and then plug into that. So we're getting progress. So this is 16 inches of wire that I eliminated from all this. So now I have the connections for the ESC in this spot right here. I've got my cool Jetty 300 amp freaking anti-spark connectors. So they'll go in here. I made up a new little connector for the front 2 packs. This pack and this pack get its own little connector right there on that one. And then they're all down in here. And then I connect them all in here. I eliminated 16 inches of wire, which is what I always tell my wife. That's 16 inches. It looks much longer than 16 inches, but that's what it is. All right. This is the frustrating part of dealing with a manufacturer and they're not accurate, because I am OCD and I want everything to be right. So the first problem is the legs and the points where these actually slide up and on the full size, you know, this is proportionally right, but it's not proportional to the size of the helicopter. So here is where the line should be in relation to all of this little divot, which this is kind of close because it comes down from here and comes this way. And this is a big panel. So if that's where it would be, that's not correct, because I've still got to put a gas cap in here and it's like right here. So I'm going to fudge it and put the panel line here, because I'm not rebuilding all of this. This is just, it is what it is. So I'm fudging it and putting the panel line to right here and finding out the angles of the panel lines. You know, like this is 10 degrees from here. This is an additional 5 degrees from there. So you look at it and you go, oh, this is just straight. No, it's not straight. It's actually 5 degrees from here. And the hard part is this door is angled back more than what it should be. And that's what's kind of throwing it off. The thing that's throwing it off is this. This stuff is way too big. It's huge. So I don't know where they were going to get that. But it's just, it throws everything off when you're trying to get stuff to line up. So there is the frustrations, is we got to fudge everything to kind of make it look accurate. And my OCD is over against the wall banging his head, boom, 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 because it doesn't work. And I went through the same thing with the crane. The crane was way off. Hence why it's still sitting up there, because I pull my hair out every time I try to do something with it. So anyway, we're trying to make panel lines because I'm putting in the floor and I want to put in this back wall. Well, the back wall actually coincides with these 2 lines right here. So I want to put in the wall. Well, I needed to find out where the wall was. Oh my God, I'm banging my head against the wall. This point right here is where this panel line that comes through here will actually terminate. And there's the hinge is back go through here, but if you kind of eyeball it, that's where it ends up. So what I need is, I need 10 degrees from this point off of this line, which is the flat line, which it lines up here and all that stuff. So I'm just using a simple low tech, Team Low Tech. There's 10 degrees. So then I can use this to draw my panel line, which these will get built up with primer because they're only one-sided panel lines. It's not like an access panel like this over here, where this actually opens up. From here, what I need is this one actually comes down and terminates out here. Just kind of eyeballed right there. So what I need is I need 5 degrees from this line up to there, and that'll give me, and this, and out here I'm trying to keep this straight. Now our panel lines are drawn. And so now that I have my line, this tells me where the back wall is for back here, because I kind of want to put this in. Just more goddamn scale detail. All right. The most challenging thing about this thing so far has been putting these floors in so that they're all level and they're all the same level. And it's been an absolute fucking nightmare. But, you know, in order to get this thing to fit just right, I'm using, to trace this one, I got it to the width that I need. And they're all nice and tight on their stuff. These two are in position in here. So I need this one to fit up against, the side. And so I'm using a scribe or a compass, you know, I call it a scribe. But then you follow this line, and you got to be lined up with the way it's got to be the whole way. Because if you turn this, then it's a different angle. So you got to go through here and make this whole thing. And all right, and there's the rough cut, because I still got some stuff to do in there, and you can kind of see down in there that it's gonna be, I got some sanding to do, but I left a little bit, and I'm not quite lined up with the back of this one. You can see right in that corner, it's got a little bit. So I got a little bit of room to work, but it's close, and we're gonna go with it. And there we go. Not much sanding to do it, but it fits right back in there, and it's right up close. All these are right in here, and I can't see my edge back there, but it looks pretty damn close. So I'm gonna call that piece done. On the full size, there are channels that go all the way across on the top side. So you can mount stuff, you can do all kinds of stuff with it, or you can mount another floor on top of it for a smooth layer. We're making progress, slowly. Oh my God. This is worse than the crane. All right. What a pain in the ass this side was. Holy crap. I thought the other side was hard. This is worse. So I've got the floors all in. And you can see where I had to put my stuff through there. So I've got this piece, I've got this piece, and I got this piece, and you can see my seams. But they're just sitting there, but they're pretty close. And they're just about on to the seam right there, so not much else I can fuck with on this. But there it goes. So now it's got a floor on that side, and it's got the floor on this side. Yeah, God, shit. Why do I do this shit to myself? So, this is what I'm working on. Those individual little steps. This is the subfloor. So I'm working on that. I did get some stuff that was kind of close. I think it's a little bit big. Just a hair. So these are 3/16 inch diameter square tubes. These are from Plastrux and Evergreen. So I'm going to order up some 1/8 inch, which is slightly smaller, because I think that these are just a hair too big, because I still got to put a piece underneath that gets a flange, and then it's riveted down. So, you know, to get that detail, I got to have something that's underneath that's wider than those. Ah, this sucks. I got to wait a week to get shit in because I don't have anything over here. All right. I'm building something, or I'm trying to build it. I just don't have the shit for it. And on to the next part of this floor thing is to hold on this side so I can get it in and out really quick, because I need to get in here to fuel, to plug in my battery, and to plug in these batteries and all this stuff. And I want to be able to do it quick. So, of course, the first hole that I drilled into the wood pieces that I have here worked great. It was perfect. Go to the next one, blows it completely out. All right, well, maybe that didn't work. Sharpen up the bit. Come over here to this one, blow it out. So, if you're planning on putting a floor and you're putting it in with magnets, make your blocks and drill your holes first before you glue them in, because now I'm going to have a hard time getting into these spots over here. I have no idea how I'm going to get those in. And if you're really smart, when you're making up your blocks, that you drill these so that your magnets will fit in just flush, if that's what you're going for, before you cut out all the shit. Don't drill a hole all the way through, just deep enough to get the magnet in there, and then make a whole bunch, because you've got lots of spare wood to do this with. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make, instead of taking these out, I'm just going to make another block and actually just put it right next to these and call it good, because I don't want to rip those out and risk breaking something like I did with these. Of course, these I just drilled all the way through like an idiot. Duh! God, I cannot make stuff. We can't have anything nice. This is why. And that's what you do. You go through and you make a whole bunch of these damn things and you just glue them in there. And they're just little pieces of wood. And we'll glue these in, and then we'll put little pieces of metal in the bottom of the floor part, and then it'll stick like magic. All right, so now what I'm doing is I have all of these cool magnets, and they're pretty smooth. So what I'm doing is I'm actually roughing up the edge. I'm using a pair of forceps. Is that what those are? Might be wrong. But I got my wood block, and what I'm doing is I'm just sanding the edge of that magnet to make it rough, so that when I glue it into its spot, the CA will actually wick around it and actually grab onto it, so I can set it into the blocks. So there we go. And I've got my roughed up. You can see the edge is kind of rough. So all I'm doing is I am sliding it into place. And then I'm taking some thin CA and just letting it wick down in there. There we go. And then on to putting the wood onto, actually, I'm putting the wood on the wood. No, on the bottom side, I'm gonna put the piece of metal that will snap to said magnet. And I have a bazillion of these magnets. Actually, I have about that many that I found. I don't know where I found them. Found them in somebody's stuff. But if not, you can get these note holders, and they've got a little tiny magnet inside there. That's a nice size. A little bit smaller than those, but it's kind of long. So you just take this on the bandsaw and cut it in half and pop that out with a pair of pliers and call it good. But yeah, anytime you can find magnets, get them, because you use them for everything. I actually use them for holding my door handle closed. When the door is on, there is a screw on the back side of this, and it just snaps right down onto there and holds it on there. And I found that out on the old 500 that I've got here, where I used that for the handles. And I also used magnets, because you can kind of see them there, to hold my doors closed. You can see them right there. And it has some up there. So the only when you're using those magnets like this, you got to make sure that you get them the right way so that they attract to each other and not repel each other. and it just snaps right together. Nice. Here's my floor. I got some tin, and it's got to be tin. It needs to be magnetic, duh. And I cut a little strip and then cut these little pieces. And then on each piece, I'm actually taking and sanding a rough side to it so that I'll know that it's gonna grip onto something. And then I went through and I marked all of my spots where I needed stuff. And then you just hit it with some thin CA and we'll see how those fit in there. Okay, there I've got it. My 4 corners on this particular piece. That's all custom sanded and shaped, and I got a little handle here. We'll see how this fits in here. All right, I'm gonna throw this thing in here and see how it all holds. Okay. It's got some hold to it. Kind of nice. Cool. I just gotta finish the rest of it. All right, and this is what I'm talking about when you cut them. They look all bent and out of shape just from the cutting action. You see like that one. It's all floppy, begoddled. And you just take it. Now it's flat. And there we have it. All the floors are all got their magnets, got their pieces of tin. They all snap into place, sort of, kind of. And I can bring up this piece to get to my fuel and just snap them right back into place. The floor is attached, magnetized, screwed. The other side got little screws. This side doesn't need to come out as much, so I put some number 0. They're 1/2 inch long. I cut them about to 3/8 of an inch. These are all at an angle to the floor. They're kind of going down this way to get to the spot, and so that I can easily unscrew them. If I was going straight up and down, it would hit the bottom of that. And these will clear. You can see where all of my ribs are going to go. Now, just all I got to do is just make a back wall back here, and it will follow this line. And yeah, that'll be the next part, but I'm not going to worry about that for right now because I got other things to do.